The World Cup is over. Pre-season friendlies are in full swing, and as always, ahead of the new season, all things Pompey will be discussed and dissected by us on the Play Up podcast. A very happy new season to everyone in Podland. We hope you're having a good summer and excited for Pompey's third season in the Championship. It's almost the 2026-27 season, and over the next hour, we will cover the ins and outs at Pompey over the summer and build up to the start of Pompey's campaign. I'm Scott McLachlan, and I'm very pleased to welcome some new international signings for our team this season. Adam Hatton is our first new signing, born and bred in Pompey, but now resides in Berlin. Welcome to you, Adam. Thank you very much for joining us this season.
Hi, Scott. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. You said you'd listened to the pod before. What gave you the impetus to come and join us and talk regularly about Pompey?
Well, so I'd listened to it before. I thought it needed a bit of a kick up the arse.
Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I say that every episode, to be honest. And we had him on loan for a pod or two, but now Simon Cuddiford, who's also in Europe, in Switzerland, joins as a permanent signing for this season. Glad to have you on board, Simon, once again. How are you?
Good. Glad to be back and talk nonsense about Pompey. It's always a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we can talk some sense as well as some nonsense, I'm sure. So we'll see what happens. I'm also joined for our third season as the Play Up podcast by regulars Phil Sands and Reese Percival, although Reese, I'm afraid, is a no-show. So we do hope he's okay. Please get in touch, Reese, if you're out there. We are concerned for your welfare. How you doing, Phil? Thanks for rejoining us again this season.
I'm all right. Looking forward to it.
Good. So, actually, you're up first, Phil. Thank you very much for doing this. You're going to cover all the new signings, quite a few, which is good news and very encouraging. So, if you could take us through it, that'd be great stuff.
So, as of this moment in time, when we're recording it, we have made 6 signings, so 6 new faces in the squad. Knowing our luck, when this goes out, we'll have signed about 3 more and it will be out of date. But I'll go through the order we... Yeah. So, the first man through the door was the fantastically named Odin Bailey. With all the talk of sort of big names and spending over the summer, fans could be sort of forgiven for being a little bit, not underwhelmed, but when a 26-year-old on a free transfer from Stockport County wasn't the thing to get everyone's juices flowing. But anyway, he signed a 3-year deal after impressive campaign with Stockport last season, nearly getting promoted out of League One. 41 appearances, 5 goals and 7 assists, so he was one of their more creative players. He's a sort of a naturally attacking midfielder, could operate on either wing. He's quite good at receiving the ball under pressure and likes to sort of bring the ball forward and keep it moving. What I've seen of him in the pre-season, he definitely looks like quite a tidy player. I think maybe not the big glamour signing we were hoping for, but hopefully a player that will make his mark and replicate some of the form he showed while at Stockport. Then next up was Owen Kenny, 20-year-old striker/winger from Dundalk. Obviously, we'd had success in the past with Terry Devlin and Ronan Curtis from Ireland. Yes, as I say, 20 years old, got 8 goals and 3 assists in 29 appearances, and apparently we won the chase for him, as they like to say. He's described as a striker. When he was signed, I think most people expected him to be a winger, and just to confuse things, John Messina said he sees him more as a natural number 10. So where he's going to pop off, I don't know. Given the lack of resources we've got at the moment, the right wing's probably the most likely. But it sounds like he's the thought of him is sort of an understudy to Segacic and Swift. But yeah, a promising, exciting player. Then we started spending money. Roko Sheen was the next to come in from Friedrichstadt in Norway. I hope I've got that pronounced correct. Our second ever Estonian international after Mark Poom. 23-year-old, but plenty of senior and international experience. 30 appearances last season, scoring 2 goals and getting 4 assists. Again, listed sort of more as a defensive midfielder. John Messino said that he sees him more as a number 8. So rather than a partner for Ibu Adams, it more looks like he's more sort of a competition for Ibu Adams. Again, seen a little bit of him in pre-season. Again, very neat and tidy. Wants the ball. Good at picking a pass. I think it'll take a little while to settle in, but very exciting one, this. Then the big one, the headline signing, and the one that I think for a month everyone talked about. We all looked at his Instagram, watched him following Pompey players, dog grooming parlours, you name it. He followed it. So I think it wasn't much of a secret when we announced that what's reported as a £3 million signing. So the big Serb, the BFS, Marko Milovanovic, known to his friends as Moretzi, from Almeria in Spain, via a season in Portugal where he got 10 goals in 32 appearances. Over 6 feet tall, so offers a bit of physical presence. But as the old adage goes, it doesn't look like he's got a good touch for a big man. So, yeah, again, exciting. And he'll give, for the first time, I think, Colby Bishop some real competition. I'd expect Colby to start the season up front, but I imagine Milovanovic will be on the pitch sooner rather than later. The next up, a bit of a left field one, this. I don't think anyone was expecting us to be signing a goalkeeper, let alone paying money for a goalkeeper. But Daniel Bielica, which I've reliably informed is how you pronounce his surname, a 27-year-old Polish goalkeeper from NAC Breda. 34 games last season. Unfortunately, relegated from the Eredivisie, but eye-catching performances. And he's 6'5", so big chap. I want to say that I'm one of the early adopters of watching videos of him and noticing that he does not like to catch the ball. Acceptable from crosses, yes, but his highlight reel is generally him palming the ball away, sometimes quite theatrically. So whilst the penalty areas in Holland aren't as overcrowded as they are in the Championship, he was given a bit of leeway there. So it'd be interesting to see how he settles in. It looks like he's here to challenge Smith for the number 1 spot. So, yeah, that will be an interesting one to see how that battle pans out. And then finally, the youngest of the players coming in, 18-year-old Luke Brooks-Smith, came from Wellington Phoenix on a 4-year contract. So off of our slightly iffy conveyor belt from the A-League. He's already been recognised as one of New Zealand's brightest young talents. 20 senior appearances, which is quite something for a 20-year-old. 3 goals and 2 assists, and apparently Nat just missed out on the New Zealand squad for the World Cup. So quick apparently, loves running at defenders, can play anywhere across the front line. I wouldn't expect him to be a regular starter, although as I'm sure we'll talk about later, the lack of depth on the wings, we could see him thrown into action sooner rather than later. But it'd be interesting to see what he does in the short term, but definitely one for the long term. So, yeah, all very encouraging. I think we'll probably talk later about where we think we need to strengthen. But I think at least another 4 signings we'll be talking about over the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the last pod of the season last season, and you did an excellent summation of the defenders and the goalkeepers that were left, and you were adamant that we weren't signing another goalkeeper. So
what do I know, Scott? What do I know?
Well, to be fair, we had 4 of them, and 5 if you count not Archer but Killip. So it's a very strange decision to bring in another keeper, and perhaps we are going to move the others on. Who knows?
Well, I think, to be honest, if Bursic would have stayed fit and wasn't injured at the end of last season, I don't think we would have gone looking for another keeper. But I think it's maybe put us in a bit of a position where we can look at our options, and if this guy's available and looks decent, then it seems to make sense.
Yeah, of course.
I'd be interested to know who would be the one to go, though, whether it be Killip or Bursic.
I can't see Bursic settling for third choice goalkeeper, and we know that Killip's quite happy to take on that sort of role. So I think once he's fit, it's likely that Killip will be Bursic will be the one to make way. But it's interesting that the goalkeeper we haven't talked about is Toby Stewart, who's obviously I think is pretty much thought of as being our future number one. And we've signed Bielitsa on a 3-year deal. I think Schmidt's got 1, possibly 2 years left on his contract. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when Stewart completes his season in the Scottish Premiership.
So I think, as you intimated there, most exciting signing must have been the striker, because we were crying out all of last season for someone to help out Bishop or replace Bishop, because he was clearly out of form for large parts of the season. Simon, have you seen any of the highlights so far? How do you pronounce that, Phil? Is it Shine or Sheen?
Shane, I believe.
Shane,
Roko
right?
Shane. So there's a third option. Right, okay, fair enough. Roko Shane, okay. What have we seen of Roko Shane? I must admit, I've only seen like brief highlights. I didn't see any of the Bristol Rovers games highlights, but I believe he featured quite heavily. So what did he look like there?
Well, I'm the same as you. I didn't get a great deal of viewing of his performances so far. From what I've heard, read, listened to, he seems like a player who likes to keep the ball and control it, but he's creative as well. So that's always a good thing in the centre of the park. But yeah, I'm a bit blind, if you like, to give a full appraisal of his performances.
That's fair enough. I think we're all a bit blind at the moment, to be honest.
Well,
really,
I would say that I did watch some highlights, and of course they are highlights, so you take it with a pinch of salt. But one of the things
Yep.
I did notice is that it does seem to have it seems to be able to spread it into the channels really well. So I think that would be interesting if we actually manage to have 2 wingers who are fit. He really likes that pass over the top. So if we get him out there to Murphy, then he does look to be that almost that kind of Marlon Pack type player who's got that long range of passing as well as just keeping it tidy in the middle. So I think that would be an interesting addition if he can pull that off here as well.
Well, from his highlight reel, which was obviously from Fredrikstad last season, he seemed to be able to. He had a very, very tight turning circle, probably a bit like Diarra. Could take the ball on the half turn and move upfield quickly. He could go past people and ride challenges, and like you say, had an accurate pass on him to get the ball wide quickly. Don't think we've had anyone in my recent memory that would drive through midfield like that. Do you agree with that, Phil? I don't think most of our midfielders have been distribution midfielders, not necessarily. I suppose you could say Segacic, but then he was hardly played through the middle anyway last season. He was mostly played on the wing, and when he did play through the middle, he got some goals. So
I think you'd sometimes see it with Dazelle, but the problem was that we quite frequently didn't have a proper sitting midfielder alongside him. So Dazelle didn't often have the sort of freedom to bring the ball forward. So I'd say probably Dazelle's he's closer to Dazelle, I think, than any other player we've had recently. But yeah, absolutely take your point. I remember when we thought Jay Mingy, remember him? He was the solution to our sort of ball carrying needs. And
he did one brilliant run, didn't he? That was it.
Yeah.
He never did it ever again.
We're never ones for hyperbole, are we? But we sort of saw that and went, "Oh, look at him!
He's the one."
Just to let you know that I've checked with the pronunciation gods, and it's Roko rhymes with Socko, Shane rhymes with rain and lane, or similarly to shine in some Germanic and Estonian context. So I reckon we can call him Shane, but not Sheen.
Okay, fine. Okay, no Sheen. Okay, that's good.
Not Mr. Sheen.
He's not Mr. Sheen. Okay, fair enough. Good. I'm glad we got there. So, are we all excited about Milavanovic, or Maratzi as his nickname is? I mean, it's good to have competition. Pedigree's okay. 3.5 million was rumoured. I know it was undisclosed, but do we think it was around that sort of money?
I believe so. Yeah. I think there's a lot of I think there's some add-ons, and there's also a 15% sell-on clause if we sell him.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to move on to the outs. So no surprise after. I mean, I don't think we were too hard on him last season on the pod, but I think everyone wanted Luke Leroux to succeed, but he didn't really show he had that kind of drive or steel in midfield. The same. I mean, when Adams came in, we certainly saw what we were missing in the midfield department, and he's a tidy enough player, but I don't think he suited the Championship. football. Jordan Williams on loan to Blackpool. He obviously wants game time. Mourinho can't give it to him, so that's why he's probably been moved on, and probably indicates we're going to sign another left back, don't you think, Simon?
Yeah, a bit of a strange decision, seeing as in his last year of his contract that we've loaned him. I would have thought we could have sold him and at least got something for him, because he's not going to come back to us after this year.
Well, perhaps the deal was
decision.
for Blackpool to have a year's look, and then a fee was agreed as part of the loan deal, and then we get that in the bank once we move him on next season.
Yeah,
with absolutely zero knowledge. My hunch, and it is a hunch, is that it looks likely that Devlin's staying, and I think if the situation with him maybe changes at Christmas, then we will have the option to recall Williams. That's my hunch.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And
because Williams did play 30 games or featured in 30 games last season, which isn't bad,
and did score. Was it your goal of the season, Phil?
Yeah, I thought it was my goal. The one against Millwall, wasn't it? Yeah, that was my goal of the season.
Yeah.
Williams wasn't a bit part player. He wasn't, on the bench all the time and never playing. He featured a lot and contributed quite a lot. He's not perhaps going to be first choice on the team sheet, but good to have as a backup. Obviously, if he wants to play football, then that's not going to be sufficient.
And remembering Phil's end of season quiz, was he the most subbed on or subbed off player? I can't remember.
I think he was the most subbed on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because we had this joke that every time we got to about 65 minutes, we'd go, bring on the right back! In fact, quite boringly during the World Cup, any game that we watched during the World Cup when it got to 65 minutes, whether it was Cameroon or Czechia or Turkey, it was 65 minutes, bring on a right back!
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, we do seem to have some fragile right backs in terms of Swanson. He definitely can't complete more than 70 minutes, bless him. So the next one that went out was Mackenzie Kirk on loan to Barnsley. Adam, he scored a goal, but that was about it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he showed a couple of flashes every now and again, but I was never been convinced so far. I think, to be fair, what he probably needs is what he's got, which is a loan to go out and get some minutes, and then we really know what we've got with him. I don't think we've seen enough of him to really be able to make a decision yet. But with Milovanovic coming in now,
well said.
Thank you very much. Well
said.
I've been practicing.
I think I'm going to struggle all season with that, to be honest.
I'd be surprised if he ever wore a Pompey shirt again, to be honest. But if he goes there and he really impresses, then who knows? He can come back and compete. At the moment, as soon as we got the three up there now, I don't see a place for him at the moment in the squad, and there's no point in him just sitting in the reserves the whole time. Well, we don't have reserves.
We don't have reserves. Yeah, we if you had listened to the pod, we've bemoaned the fact we have no reserves all season.
Absolutely.
Well, for the last few years, to be honest. Is he on a 3-year deal? Same as, because he's obviously been here.
He's got another 2 years. I think he's got another 2 years left. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this genuinely is a development loan, and we'll put him out and see what happens, and see what we've got with him, basically.
Cool. And you mentioned him earlier, Phil, Toby Stewart, new 3-year contract, loaned out to St Johnstone, playing in the Scottish Premiership, which is probably Championship level, isn't it, mostly? Apart from the top 2, top 3. Mostly Championship level, so that's similar. So that's good experience for him. Obviously, had a terrific season at St Johnstone.
They loved him up there. They absolutely loved him, and they were really glad to have him back. I think that's a win-win for everyone, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And then we'll go on to rumours. We all have a bit of rumours, don't we? And obviously, the biggest one is Abu Kamara ongoing. Rich Hughes has made overtures about him, which he never usually does. He always says, I'm never going to talk about contracted players, but can't seem to shut up about Kamara. Obviously desperate to bring him in. Simon, how likely do we think it will be to get Kamara in, which we all want, don't we?
I think everybody would love to have him back. He was loved here, and he played like he was loved. And I think since he's left, he's never been loved. I mean, Sellers hung him out to dry with that apology situation.
Oh, that social media.
That was horrendous, wasn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely awful. And then they sent him on loan halfway across Europe. It's like they don't have a plan for him. He's obviously not in their plans, so he needs to get out of there. he should come back to Pompey. He's desperate for a right winger. Can you imagine those two, Murphy and Kamara on the wings, dropping crosses into our new, tall, gorgeous striker?
He's very handsome, isn't he? He's very
He's
handsome.
a good-looking fella. I'm glad someone else is brave enough to say that, because I thought my heart fluttered a little bit. I thought, whoa, hello. The fans are going to take to him. Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about strikers, Bim Peppel was rumoured as well from Plymouth. Probably less likely, I would have thought, but
I think we're done striker-wise. I don't see us bringing anyone else in. Because Waddingham's got a real season to prove himself, and again, he's looked good in pre-season. I think if he can stay fit, given that we're a team that only plays one up front, I think 3's enough. I think it's Bishop and Milovanovic competing for the top spot, and
the number 9. Yeah,
and then our Aussie sort of filling in where necessary. Yeah. On the subject of Kamara, I will say that as of 14 minutes past 9 on Thursday, the 30th of July, Marko Milovanovic is not following him on Instagram. So I'd say exclusively that transfer is not imminent.
Okay.
One more thing I would say about rumours. Colby Bishop to Sheffield Wednesday was quite strong about 2 weeks ago, so that seems to have
I
gone
don't
quiet.
think it's going to happen. From what I could gather, Sheffield Wednesday are struggling financially, and I think they won't pay what Colby's worth to us. I can't see us selling him for anything less than a half decent fee, I think.
Yeah, I think the FA have got their foot on their neck, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how many points have they got in League One next season? They've still got a significant points deduction, haven't they?
Minus 10,
carried over
12, something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, so they're on. They could go down to League Two quite easily. I mean, similar pattern to what we had to deal with in 2011 and 2012. Yeah, they don't have any money. Even if they sell some players, I don't think the FA are going to allow them to reinvest it. They have to put it into either infrastructure or player wages only. They can't actually pay any fees out. I don't know how long that's going to last, whether it's just this season or whether it's for another couple of seasons. But yeah, the FA have really, really got them on a stranglehold, making sure that they don't get into trouble again.
I wouldn't be surprised if some other League One clubs didn't come sniffing about, because I think that Colby would be a great sign at that level. But I think where we're at, we don't need to sell him. I think, and at the moment, as Phil said earlier, I think it's his job to lose to start the season. And so, if he comes on and he proves himself, then why would you take that step down?
No, true. But I mean, he has to perform now, though, doesn't he? Because
absolutely, which is what he needed last season. That's exactly what he needed last season, was just someone to push him a bit, I think, and maybe to give him a rest as well occasionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think
I've just checked, and Sheffield Wednesday have not had they've had their 15. It was a 15-point deduction, but they've had it cancelled, so they're starting on 0.
Okay, well.
Oh yeah, I remember at the end of the season they put it up on the scoreboard at their final home game, didn't they? And the place went wild. Yes, I remember.
That's right.
Most they've had to celebrate all season.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, apart from when they beat us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bizarre, wasn't it? The only win they had all season. Anyway, the next one is Jesper Cisse. Again, that was a few days ago. Nothing seems to be in the pipeline for him, I don't think. And another one I put in because it was kind of mentioned a little bit after the World Cup, and apparently Santos want to send him back to Europe, is Gus Caballero. Did you see his performances up front for the Paraguayans?
He was slightly less fighty than the other players, wasn't he?
Well, he was up. Basically, he was up in front on his own and asked to chase anything that was lumped forward while they reorganised their defence. So it wasn't a glorious World Cup for him, but I really liked him. I'd love to see him back, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen again now.
I mean, I thought he was a good signing for us at the time. I thought he did provided cover in a problem area for us, but for me, I don't think he really did enough to warrant the amount of money that Santos are asking for him.
No,
I think Cisse is a possibility. I think that is one that could happen, because I think it's Trabzon. Is it Trabzonspor that he's at? And I think they're under pressure.
They're trying to
sell.
offload. Yeah, they're trying to offload everything at the same time.
And he looks like a decent player.
But he's another central midfielder, right?
Yeah, but he's more of a six,
more of a
which
six.
is what we need.
Yeah.
We need someone who's going to go in there and kick people up in the air, and I think he seems
Yeah,
to
well,
be
that's the
that
thing.
sort of
That's
player.
maybe the only thing we're missing at the moment is a bit of an enforcer in there, isn't it? It's,
Yeah.
the other
What
ones look
about
like
Ibu
good
Adams?
ball players. Well, Adams
Well,
is
that's
more of
it.
a box to box, isn't he? I think he's not the
Yeah.
sort of player who really sits in there. And before last season, we were playing Pack obviously as the deep midfielder, but he's not going to do the running around and tackling. He's more of the deep lane playmaker, right? Which I think we got a few options there now.
Yeah.
But I think Ibu Adams is probably a better number 6 than he is a number 10 based on his performance. There's one
I've
performance
always
there
thought
last
that.
season.
I couldn't understand him being played behind the striker. I mean,
It's a
I
really
understand his
strange
physical
one.
presence. He's not someone who can bring people into play very often. He tries, but sometimes he's got a bit of a square foot on him, and it goes off somewhere else.
I just hope we don't start the season with John Swift as our midfield enforcer, because that.
Yeah, we can give up on that experiment. I think. What's interesting now with Scott, just with the signings that we have added, is that we really have competition. I think for most of those places now. You think of all the players who were playing last season with Pack and Swift, and now replacing Dazal, is actually we seem to have replaced them. I think either like for like or better. So I think in general our midfield is going to be a big improvement this season. Sorry.
Well, we'll probably come on to it a bit later, but I'm a bit worried that our team doesn't look significantly different to last season so far. So I think, as Phil said earlier, we can go into where we need some further bolstering in the squad. But now I think we should go on to a bit of fun. So this is something that I've nicked from another comedy duo called the Brain Darts game. So basically, for this example, the total that you have to get down to 1 from is going to be the distance from Fratton Park to Darmstadt 98 via road, which according to Google Maps is 593 miles. Okay?
Via roads?
Via road, yes.
Oh,
so if you left Fratton
I thought
Park...
you meant roads, as in the lovely Greek island.
That would be considerably more. 593 is a decent total, I think. So you have 3 mental darts or guesses to get the lowest checkout. So the way I'm going to do it is you have to name a Pompey player, and their number of appearances is your score. Okay, so I don't want to see anyone reaching for Google. Okay, and I won't narrow it down to a decade or a team or anything like that. You can pick a Pompey player from any time in history, as long as you can possibly maybe remember roughly how many appearances they are. So obviously you have 3 goes. If you get too many, then you bust out and you have no chance of winning, and it's the person who gets nearest to 1 who will be the winner. So I've given an example here. For some bizarre reason, you said Alexander Kane, who played for Pompey between 1923 and 1926. You would score 104 for his total appearances, and therefore you'd have a 489 to get with 2 darts to go. You have to use all 3 darts. If you go over the total, as I said, you bust out. Simon, or top of my screen, so I'll let you go first. If you would like to name a Pompey player, I will tell you how many appearances they made, and we'll see how far down you go.
Linvoy Primus.
Here we go. He made 219 appearances. So I'll get my little calculator out.
Are we counting down from 501?
593. So 593 minus 219 is 374 you have left, Simon.
Okay.
What's your next guess?
Marlon
Pack. Okay. He's had 154 appearances. You have 220 to go.
I will go with Gareth Evans.
Don't think that's going to be low enough, but we'll see. Have you Googled this? So Gareth Evans got 219 appearances.
Oh, get out!
Oh, come on!
Well, at least we can all go home early.
Apologies for setting the bar so high.
Yeah. So you are on 1. Unbelievably. That's not how it was supposed to go. So well done, Simon. You've managed to get...
Yeah, well done, Simon.
You might be the new Jamie. Right, okay. So...
No one wants to be the new Jamie.
No one wants to be the new Jamie. Bless him. Right, so Phil, if you'd like to go now, you have to get to 1 to tie.
Yeah, no problem. I will start with Kit Simons.
Simons, okay. He had 205 appearances. There's 393 left.
393 left. Okay, I will. Guy Whittingham.
Whittingham. Do you know what? That was going to be my first guess when I was doing a test. I chose Guy Whittingham, and he did 226. So you have 167 left. This gets a little bit tricky because you need to find someone with enough
it's not as easy,
appearances.
the last one. The last one's easy.
Yeah,
We've
just need to
seen
get
it.
someone with 166, okay?
166 appearances, you say? I'm going to go with Ronan Curtis.
Oh, that's not a bad shout.
Drum roll. I'm afraid he had 229 appearances. Good effort, Phil, but you've passed by 62.
Did he really? 229? That's
229 appearances. 57 goals as well over 5 seasons.
He was our leading goal scorer in the 21st century.
He was, yeah. He was our main man for a while. Kind of under the radar and unappreciated. Right, Adam, down to you to have another crack at getting to 1.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start with Alan McLaughlin.
Strong opening.
Yeah, 61 appearances, and so 237 left. 69 goals over 9 seasons.
How many? 237. That's a. Wait, how many did Curtis have? Connor Ogilvie.
That might be a decent shout. 96. So you need to get 40 to tie with Simon.
So
who would have got 40 appearances? I mean,
Merson.
That is a good one. That's a very good one.
I know for a fact he didn't get 40.
Shit.
He played 48 times, I'm afraid. So you bust as well. Yeah. Unbelievable. 24 goals in his only season. What
Not
a player.
Not a bad season, that was it though.
No.
What a
so
player.
Congratulations, Simon. You broke the game, I'm afraid, in its first iteration. I wasn't expecting anyone to get anywhere near 1, let alone on 1. So much congratulations for that. I was hoping to play this again, but I don't think I'll bloody bother now because someone's got to 1. You've completely ruined it for the whole season now.
No, we need to see Simon get it horrifically wrong at some point as well.
Yeah, that's right. I want to prove that it was luck.
Yeah.
Well, all the other quizzes that I've taken part in, I've failed miserably. To get
Good.
that
well,
is,
that was the guess of a lifetime. Unbelievable. Well done.
Well done
indeed.
Good work.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah,
so
what's my prize? What's the prize?
Pure pride, I'm afraid, and the opportunity to go to Germany tomorrow, which I believe both you and Adam are going. Well, obviously, Adam, you're already in Germany. You're just moving to a different city.
It's probably not much further than it from Portsmouth than it is from Berlin, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough. Darmstadt 98. You're playing in a friendly in a Bundesliga 2 side. So, Adam, I did ask you if you give us a bit of a preview of the club, but also I think you're going to give us a bit of a schooling on the Bundesliga 2 as well. So go for it, mate.
Cheers, mate. Well, first of all, schooling on how to pronounce it, which is, of course, the Zweite Bundesliga.
Zweite. Okay, apologies. Apologies to all of our German listeners.
Yes. So, yeah, with Pompey heading to Germany just this weekend. So it's a final pre-season friendly. Yeah, I thought I'd provide a bit of a background on our opponents and in general the German second tier of football, which is based entirely on my formidable credentials of having a German postcode. Darmstadt's full name is, again in our German lesson, Sportverein Darmstadt 98, which is SV Darmstadt 98 to you and me. Their nicknames is Die Lilien, which is the Lilies, and they play at the Merckstadion am Bullenfalto, which even Germans quite sensibly shorten to the Bolle. So it's a proper, compact, traditional football ground rather than the sort of modern soulless identikit bowl that you might find down the M27. But that old school feel is actually fairly typical of the Zweite Bundesliga, which is essentially the German equivalent of the Championship. So I think similar to what you said about Scotland earlier, the standard is broadly comparable to the Championship, but actually the overall feel is quite different. There's 18 teams in the league, of which the top 2 go up automatically. The third plays in a 2-legged playoff against the Bundesliga's third bottom side, which is quite interesting. unless you're not the Bundesliga side, because they win it pretty much every time. But last season was different actually. Paderborn went up, but yeah, in general, it's not a great system. The league is actually full of usually just stuck full of massive clubs. So recently, has been Schalke, Hertha Berlin, Hannover, Nuremberg, Kaiserslautern. The average attendance of the league is actually over 30,000. So it's essentially a league full of really big clubs that are far too big to be there. And fan bases that are permanently aggrieved by the fact that they are in that league. It's pretty competitive. It's competitive, it's physical, it's unpredictable. But the biggest difference really between that and the championship is the matchday culture. It's got lots of old school terraces, really strong away followings, really affordable tickets, and a much more visible and organised support, often with political identity. So Darmstadt's fan scene, for example, is broadly progressive, has a long-standing anti-racist and anti-fascist tradition as well. And supporters in Germany also have more formal influence through club membership and the 50+1 rule, which we won't go into now, but is I think really interesting. But also on top of that, clubs must apply for a license each season to prove that they can afford to complete it. So before the season they apply, they have to provide all their finances, and they do this rather than just assuming that an owner will cover all the losses. And because of that, a number of other things, but last season 15 of the 18 clubs in the Zweite Bundesliga made a profit, which is compared to just 3 in the championship. So it's definitely an interesting model financially as well. But sort of bring it back to Darmstadt, actually that licensing system was quite one of the main reasons why Darmstadt had their modern revival. In 2013, they finished in a third-tier relegation spot and were due to drop into regional football, essentially non-league. And they only survived because kickers Offenbach were denied a license because they had financial problems. So Offenbach dropped out of the league and Darmstadt survived. Because of that, they went on to win back-to-back promotions and return to the Bundesliga after 33 years away. So their entire revival was based upon somebody else messing up their paperwork, which is a very German example of sporting salvation, I think. So actually, in general, Darmstadt is a kind of a similar Pompey story as well. They're a very traditional club, playing blue shirts. They have a proper ground, committed supporters. They've had to climb back after being very close to disappearing as a club. And actually, the two clubs were even founded just 47 days apart in 1898. So Darmstadt, of course, managed the following century without quite so many incompetent and entirely fictional owners. But yeah, we have a fairly big shared history. Another interesting little anecdote I found out is that their underdog spirit goes back a little further. So when they first reached the Bundesliga in 1978, most of their players still had day jobs alongside playing top-flight football. And they became known as the Feierabendfußballer vom Bollenfeldl, which is roughly translated as the after-work footballers from the Boller. So that's a fun thing. And I guess it sounds fairly romantic now, but was probably less romantic for the poor bloke who spent 8 hours fitting kitchens and then had to mark Gerd Muller for 90 minutes. But they've since had a couple of spells in the Bundesliga and are now an established upper-end second-tier side who will expect to challenge again this year. And this is going to be Darmstadt's final friendly and part of their official season opening event. So it should be a bit of a party, and it's just a week before their league campaign begins. So it should feel like a proper occasion rather than just the usual pre-season kickabout. And Darmstadt really do see themselves as promotion contenders again this year. They finished 5th last year and should provide Pompey with a proper test. So yeah, enjoy the beer on the terraces, which will be a nice novelty, and expect a proper game. And Darmstadt are, I think, in many ways very similar to Pompey, but just with better paperwork.
That's brilliant. I've got it. I'm not going.
Very
now.
welcome. Yeah, should be a good day out.
I was going to say the badge looks like a Fleur de Lis, local grassroots Pompey team.
Yeah, local, long-term. I think everybody who ever played Sunday League football played against the Fleurs team at some point. Right?
Yeah, that was a great summation, Adam. Thanks very much for that. The interesting thing is the profitability, isn't it? I mean, the fact that the majority of the league actually doesn't lose money is astonishing compared to, the English similar division, and the fact that hundreds of millions are lost by the league every season, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, and then there were so many reasons for that. I mean, we were talking about Sheffield Wednesday earlier, and that simply wouldn't have happened in Germany because they wouldn't have been granted a license. You have to prove that you're profitable. No single owner can ever own more than 49% of a club, or financially that is. I mean, there's always loopholes and everything that people like Red Bull seem to manage to find a way around. But in general, it's a lot better, and because ticket prices are affordable, travel across Germany is affordable, so away support and attendances are always massive, and yeah, it's I think there's a lot that English football could learn from the way that Germany runs the leagues.
Yeah, and of course it won't. So,
Of course it won't.
it's obvious why you moved to the country, because if everything's a lot cheaper, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and again, maybe it's because they've still got a lot of old school terraces, so you can normally pick up a ticket for less than €15. I mean, it doesn't mean that places like Bayern and Dortmund don't still have really extortionately priced tickets. But yeah, it means that your average person can still afford to go to games every week, which again is how it used to be. It's how probably all of us started watching football. And it's a real old school feel in Germany. And as somebody who tries to go to football over here as much as possible, that's the only way I could describe it. It really is like watching it like when I used to go as a kid, and all the atmosphere and everything that went along with that.
How many tickets have we sold? I think, is it a couple of thousand to go in?
1,500?
It's like 1,500.
Yeah. I know there's a. I'm a member of the Chichester Supporters Club, and there's a lot from Chichester going. I'm very jealous of you two for going. I wish I could pop over to Germany for the weekend, but unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. I will. What time's kickoff UK time on Saturday?
2 o'clock local time, so I think it'll be 1 o'clock in the UK.
1 o'clock. Okay. I think you can pay a £5 on the iPlayer or the iFollow to no, it's Pompey Plus now, isn't it? I must get it right.
Yep.
Pompey
Plus, yeah. And I don't know if it's really, really sunny. I'm afraid I might be just down the beach instead.
That's perfectly reasonable.
Just have to see, and I will catch up with the highlights later. But yeah,
I think depending how the evening before goes, I'm not even sure I'm going to make the match.
Well, I've seen on some of the social stuff that people are there already. So there's certainly an advanced party who've made their way to.
I'm sure, given a very good account of the local Portsmouth culture.
Yeah.
Well,
like we were in Porto before the Guimarães game, and we were sat in there, and one bloke came in and said, "Oi, mate, 4 shants, please." To the Portuguese barman.
Yeah, it's really, really getting into the local vibe, isn't it? Yeah.
At least he said please.
Well, of course he did, yeah. Unintelligible, but polite, at least. So thanks for that, Adam. That's great. Do we think we're going to put out a really strong side? I'm going to also put, like, in a couple of weekends' time, we're playing away at West Ham. I mean, we're going to do another pod next Thursday and cover West Ham and any news up until next Thursday again, because listeners, we're going to go weekly this season as much as possible. Obviously, we probably won't bother during the international breaks because they're 2.5-week breaks this year, so there will be nothing to talk about, so we won't bother. But we will go weekly this season, so I'm very much looking forward to it, even if no one else is, possibly. So we'll soon try and cram that in. So do we think we're going to put out a strong side on Saturday, or is Mousinho going to give it the light touch again? Well,
as the Farnborough friendly last night, that was basically the kids. So all of the first team squad seemed to have travelled to Germany. So I would imagine he'll put something out which is akin to what he wants to play at West Ham. Yeah, and do you think he'll play a strong side at West Ham? I mean, previously the first round of the League Cup under Mousinho has literally been. I mean, he always says, "I've put a team out to compete." He rests all of the players that really, really matter to him. Do we think that he'll go strong on Saturday and then throw the League Cup again?
I think he'll go. I think he'll go strong against West Ham this time, because I think there's too many players who haven't had enough minutes in pre-season games, and I think he'll treat it almost like a pre-season game.
Well, that makes sense.
I think he'll use every substitution that he's allowed to use, but I think he'll field a fairly strong side. I think he'll protect players. Like, if Murphy is going to make his first appearance of the season, he's not going to get more than 45 minutes, I wouldn't have thought. But he's got to get minutes in the legs of some of these players, particularly the new guys. So I think he'll go fairly strong.
Good. Well, that's good news, because I do worry. I'm not going to that match because I'm away all weekend. I would have done otherwise. I think we sold.
There's about 9,000, isn't it?
9,000 we've sold, yeah, which is quite astonishing, really. And we probably could have sold double that, I expect. But there we go. It was only a tenner as well. It's really, really reasonably priced.
Going back to the thing about Germany, it's amazing, isn't it, how many people you can get in the ground when you charge a reasonable ticket price.
Yeah, well, we know what Pompey like, and Pompey like a trip up East London. we always go to South London or East London en masse, so there's no different this season. a couple of final things I wanted to sign off with. I saw a video today of the new freshly laid pitch, which looks absolutely immaculate. It's a next generation pitch, hybrid layers underneath, some knitted grass in between. Hopefully, we won't see the patches that we usually see over Christmas and New Year. But I think I don't think there's been any other additions or changes to the ground, is there, Phil? I think that was the only thing that was done this summer.
Nothing significant. I was up there the other week giving blood, and I did sneak a little peek at the pitch, and it does look incredible. And the weird thing about it is it's like a bowling green. It's flat. There's no bumps by the penalty area, so it doesn't look like the Fratton Park pitch at all. But no, it didn't look like there was a lot of stuff going on, but there didn't seem to be any output from it apart from the pitch.
It sounds silly, but I like that they've painted the running track blue.
Oh yes.
I think it looks nice.
Yes, well, it's all artificial now, isn't it? Rather than the old cinder. That old cinder was
I missed the cinder. I remember. I think it was Morris Volt who went over on it, and he scraped the whole of his hand. And I remember everyone jeering at him, and he held his hand up, and it was sort of bright red.
Probably bleeding as well.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that. I think the ground staff were saying they were very pleased that the League Cup was away, because they gave them an extra week to really get it looking good. So I'm hoping that plays like a bowling green against QPR. Phil, I'm really looking forward to that first game against QPR. I think we can get off to a strong start, but we'll cover that in a couple of weeks. So the last thing is something that's obviously blown up in the news over the last 24 hours, and that's Gianni Infantino's sale of the World Cup to the highest bidder. I think just before we went to record on air, that UEFA pulled out a strong statement. I'm not across. I don't know if anyone wants to explain what Infantino was trying to do. I'm not quite across all of it. So does anyone want to try and explain what he was trying to do? And I can understand why, getting investors in is a bad thing, bearing in mind what happened with Trump over the World Cup and him getting the red card rescinded. But what's the actual proposal? Do you know, Simon?
Yeah, he's talking about setting up an independent company that is responsible for the commercial side of the competitions. So that will be commercial, as in advertising, and also all the TV rights side of it. And to set that up, he's inviting private investors to pour money into it, and that money he's going to distribute around the various countries, dependent on whether you say yay or nay to the decision, which sounds like bribery to me. The guy who's actually set up, or is proposing to set up the company, is the brother of Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law of Trump.
It's a mad coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? So it's purely a money-making scheme for tickling somebody's palm, isn't it? That's quite clear. And I think the reaction from your average fan in the street and now from the UEFA is very strong and definitely a no. And I think
because I saw that UEFA had said that they would boycott the World Cup, and that starts with the women's, which the playoffs are over the winter, aren't they? So that, I mean, I was shocked when I saw that, because very rarely do we see a lot of vested interests act in the same way, and clearly UEFA are. Did you want to say something, Adam?
Nope.
No? I thought you had your hand up.
No.
You're stroking your beard thoughtfully.
I was just stroking my beard. I was thinking.
What's Infantino up to now?
Well, I'll tell you what, I will say something, seeing as you asked, as I think that, obviously during the World Cup, Infantino really did show his true colours. And I think the amount of really obvious corruption that was shown in the World Cup was, it was unbelievable, really. And so I don't think any of this is a surprise, and it was clear what he was building up to, something similar to that. And I'm really pleased that UEFA have taken a really strong stance against it. And I read the statement. I thought it's good somebody needs to do that. And hey, look, it is just one of the major federations, but it's, you look at the amount of money that's brought in from Europe, and that will have to be considered now. I mean, it's not something they can ignore. Yeah, I think it's an absolute disgrace. Yeah, I think not surprised by anything that Infantino does now to apparently just line his own pockets.
No,
Sorry,
absolutely. Or
allegedly.
Or line other people's pockets who are very close to him as well.
His mates,
yeah. Any comments, Phil?
No, there is talk of some of the other football federations following suit, which I think would be even better. So we'll just end up the next World Cup will be USA versus Canada, and that will be it. Yeah. Come on, Canada.
If that's the case, then I think Infantino seems to have bitten off more he can chew, and probably, hopefully, has not much time left as being the chief, and maybe someone more sensible can come in. But this is FIFA, they've been doing it for decades. And
can we just go back, rewind, and remember that he was the more sensible option after Blatter.
Yeah. He was the one who was meant to come in and get rid of all the corruption.
Yeah, and I quite like Blatter during the World Cup and said, "Oh, this is all terrible, all this corruption." So, of course it is, mate.
Well, and I think without meaning to get too political, it's one of those things that at least Sepp Blatter used to pretend that it wasn't corrupt.
Yeah.
Infantino doesn't even seem to want to try and hide it anymore. It's just it's out there. He says, "What are you going to do about it?" Yeah.
So the saying goes, "As power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely," isn't it? So
indeed,
clearly that's where he is. So thank you very much, guys. That's number 1 of the season. I'm really looking forward to doing this a lot more over the season. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you very much, Adam, for coming on your full debuts. I know Simon's been on before, but you're going to come back more regularly. And thank you for lending us your experience, Phil. Season campaigner now in this podcast, so thank you very much for that. We will be back next Thursday, and we will discuss the Darmstadt result and any further transfers. Maybe we don't know. A whole week away, we could have another 1 or 2 in the door, and then we will look forward to the West Ham Cup game on the following Saturday. So thanks again to Simon, Adam, and Phil. And this is the Play Up podcast, and we will see you in a week. Bye-bye.